Welcome everyone, it's VM Campos Magic Fan. If you're watching the video after the live event, you missed it. We crafted together a brand new deck for Arena. You can jump down to the description for the various chapters to jump through this video. The idea of the deck, building the deck, playing the deck. If you were here live, you saw it all live together. But if you're watching it after the fact, go to the description. So what we're going to do here is craft a brand new deck. Innistrad Crimson Vow for Magic Arena just came out. So we're going to make a brand new Historic Brawl deck from some of the newest cards. So I've got my Arena account up here. I'm going to go to decks and create a brand new deck. So we'll talk about the theory of crafting a good Brawl deck, finding the right cards, and then of course testing the deck to see how good it is, and then it's a continual process. It's not just it comes together on the first version. So again, in the description you've got the various chapter stops. Currently we are in the first chapter, beginning the build. So I'm going to go with a Historic Brawl build, and we're going to go with Azorius Spirits. So Dorothea is the commander we're going to go with. So Dorothea, Vengeful Victim. This is going to be an Azorius Spirits deck. So blue-white, if that's your favorite color, this deck is for you. Here's the commander that will helm this deck. She's a 4/4 spirit with flying for only 2 mana. What's the catch? When Dorothea, Vengeful Victim, attacks or blocks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. Then you can disturb to come back again as an enchantment. Enchanted creature has, whenever this creature attacks, create a 4/4 that's tapped and attacking, and then sacrifice the token at the end of combat. So what we want out of this deck, based on the commander, is to synergize. This is my #1 tip to give you. When you make Brawl decks or Commander/EDH decks, you want your deck to synergize with the commander. It's kind of obvious to say, but we'll say that. And the synergy will happen in creature types, and then what does the commander want to do? What does it encourage you to do? So this is going to be a spirits-focused deck, and focused on what she does best, which is that she makes attacking tokens, attacking spirit tokens. We're in Azorius color, so we have the ability to do some control shenanigans. We have the color white for some excellent removal. We can have some board wipes. We can have targeted removal of creatures and artifacts and enchantments. And then we've got blue, where we can do counter spells, bounce spells, and the like. And white is also great with a go wide token strategy. Lots of little creatures to beat down your opponent. So whenever you craft a deck in Brawl or Commander, consider that. Really synergize. Then there's the various levels of, okay, I have the colors that I want, and I'll just jam all the stuff in there just because it's the right colors. Personally, I really like to focus on Brawl and Commander to really be on theme. This is a Spirits Commander. All the creatures will be spirits. Everything will be spirit themed. Yes, there will be the amazing blue dragon that is amazing from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms that could be in the deck. It's in the colors after all. And you do you. If you just want the best cards all the time, go for it. Brawl and Commander are more of a casual format, if you recall. This is not getting on the ladder to get up to a certain level and earn stuff. This is not to qualify for tournaments. Commander and Brawl is a casual format. Obviously, based on your play group, you decide how casual or hardcore you're going to be. This is not going to be a CEDH build. Spoiler alert. This is going to be more of a fun, casual build as Richard Garfield intended. So, I would love to hear your thoughts on how to further improve the deck, of course. Put them in the comments. I love to hear that. I want everyone to see your thoughts. Put them in the comments. So it's going to be, as I said, focused on spirits and on themes. So I'm going to name my deck here. H-Brawl. Spirits. And of course, the number one thing, another pro tip to give you here is pick an amazing sleeve to really strike terror into the heart of your opponent. So you got to have cool sleeves. Maybe we'll put kitties on the sleeves, or maybe we will show we're from the land of the rising sun, or an Ugin, or a scary puppy. There's lots of great sleeves, of course, to add to the deck. But I'm going to go with... we'll put Nico. Nico Eris is in the right colors, so we'll select Nico here. I'm just going to do a quick save and then come back to the deck. Got too many decks nowadays. What about you? Are you running out of space for your decks? Only 75 slots. So, okay, let's start to build this deck. Now, the idea of synergizing with this deck is I want to, as soon as possible, get that enchantment. Because with that enchantment, I make more attacking spirits. So I'll get one attack as a 4/4 flyer. Cool. But then pay the disturb cost to come back from the graveyard to attach to a creature to make an attacking spirit. Okay, I want lots of attacking spirits. So one of the main cards here that we will add, well, I'll just go ahead and add it right now, is Anointed Procession. Anointed Procession, 4 mana enchantment. If an effect would create one or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens. So we want to copy our token stuff. That definitely goes in the deck. So we're going to make double tokens. Now, we can also, as we synergize, use the search feature to find more such related cards if they exist. So I'm going to go over here to show me the non-collected ones. Now, apologies, I'm going to say right away, this might not be a budget build. And I got a couple of wild cards to spare, but if you don't, consider how you can make it budget or not. So the search feature. So if we look up, let's see, how many cards have the word effect? That will help us find more related. Okay, we have Anointed Procession, discontinuity in our colors, and the turn. Okay, this one doesn't really relate to that. It's just an amazing counter spell. What about if we look up tokens? What about if we look up the word twice? So again, we're doing this all live on the stream. Eventually you want to jump down to the chapter stops where the deck is complete and how it plays. Choose target attacker. Practice tactics deals damage. It's about damage. Choose target attacking or blocking. Practice tactics deals damage to twice number of creatures in your party. So that's not going to do what we want exactly. If you would gain life, gain twice as much life instead. Maybe we want to also throw in life gain strategies in this deck. I'm thinking more so far spirits, so a lot of creatures, a lot of go wide strategy. So we're going to use anthem effects as well. Maybe life gain. Life gain is always fun. So destroy artifacts or gain life. We've got you gain X life. So a bunch of ways to gain lots of life. If we're gaining lots of life, we can also put Aetherflux Reservoir in there, where we can do 50 damage to the opponent. So if it was a very much a life-focused deck, we could get those cards in there. But it's going to be a go-wide Flyers and Spirits Matter deck. So we're going to have Anthem effects to make your little creatures bigger. We're going to have the doubling effect. We're going to also have the effects to reduce the cost of flyers, or to really focus on flyers, because spirits fly. So when this enters, copy the next instant, investigate. If this spell was cast, investigate twice. So make a couple investigation tokens. Think twice, draw a card, flashback. Bruvak the Grandiloquent, that's for a mill strategy. Mordenkainen, draw some cards, create a dog. Exchange your hand in library. Thassa's Intervention, it could be either a counter spell or a card draw spell, and Oath of Teferi. Exile another permanent you control, so it's a blink effect. And then you can do your Planeswalker stuff twice. Okay, so I'm not seeing more strategy, more synergies there. Let's search for the term tokens. Let's go with plural tokens first. Intangible virtue creature tokens you control. Okay, creature tokens you control get +1. So here, plus vigilance. So the spirits that we're going to create, the tokens and such, we will give them a buff, an anthem, and also vigilance. So pop that into the deck. And we've got, I kind of don't like that as soon as you craft a card, it kind of puts it out of order for you. That's a little weird thing about that. So anyway, create 2 soldiers. Now that's at an instant. They don't have haste, but you can create those on the opponent's turn. Now again, I said if you really want to focus on the topics of really hardcore synergy, well, these are soldiers, not spirits, but again, there's lots of ways to make your decks. Create 2 1/1 colorless servo artifacts. If we make the idea that we really want to deal with tokens, okay, here's 2 cards that make tokens, either instantly or sorcery speed. If an opponent has more life than you, you gain 4 life. If an opponent controls more creatures than you, create humans. If an opponent has more cards in hand, then you draw a card. That's a really fun spell. It really is a sort of a balance type of spell. Basri creates tokens, gives pluses to your tokens, gives you an emblem which makes more tokens, more soldiers. Hive Stirrings makes some of the slivers, the slivers that people don't like. Create 2 slivers. Omen creates 2 humans. Queen's Commission creates 2 vampire tokens, so we have a lot of token strategies. Create 2 humans. Make another token. Create 2 soldiers. Lifelink. If you have less life than an opponent, you gain 6 life. If you control fewer creatures, create 3 soldiers. Ajani makes cats, cat tokens. Battle Screech creates bird tokens. Create 2 knights with vigilance. Cubwarden creates cats. Elspeth creates also tokens, but human tokens. Leonin creates cats, creates dogs. Who released the dogs out? As the song goes. Create servos. Create angels. Well, angels fly. We might put that in there because, okay, if we're dealing with spirits, spirits-focused deck, angels are kind of a spirit because angels are the representation of dead things, right? Tell me in the chat, do angels count as spirits? And do spirits count as angels? Tell me in the chat. Confront the Assault is one of the Arena exclusive cards that does not exist on paper. We've got 2 versions of it. Cast a spell only if a creature is attacking you. Create 3 spirits. Okay, I'm going to pop this one in the deck, because if we've got the Anointed Procession, this is going to create 6. And you don't even have to block with them. But if you've got your Anthem effects out, your buffs, this one will create 6 2/2s instantly. So put that one in the deck. You just have to decide, do you want this art or do you want this art? So if you like this art versus that art, pick one. Put that in the deck. Divine Visitation. If 1 or more creature tokens would be created under your control, that many angels are created. So instead of just getting plain old regular tokens, they all become 4/4s. This automatically creates at least a 4/4 spirit. And here we can create them as angels. Heron Blessed Geist. 5 mana, 3/3. Exile this, create 2 spirits. Only if you control an enchantment and as a sorcery. Dorothea would be an enchantment. We're going to have other enchantments. So we would create 2. Once this flying spirit has done its thing, we will get more. So let's get that one in the deck. Caracalla, I love that on a cat-focused deck. Hoplite makes humans. Scour the earth. That's some kind of abstract art. Exile target creature makes some birds. This one makes humans. This one makes humans. And Maria's Call makes angels. Ooh, that's some epic art. Soul of Migration. When this enters, create 2 birds, plus you get a 2/4. Parhelion makes more. Create some soldiers. Jace creates illusions. Puppet Stitcher's zombies. This one makes merfolk. Drakes. Servos. Eternal zombies. This one makes illusionary squids. Pirates makes treasure. Treasure makes golems. Take turns plus birds. Chunkwinder tokens. Fairies. Treasure. Servos. Creature tokens you control have flying and vigilance. This is a bird warrior, and it gives all of your spirits automatic flying and vigilance. So here's again the example to decide. This is a bird, but we've got a spirit deck. If we want to go to the more CEDH route, the more competitive route, we might put this in here because it gives your tokens vigilance. Now, the intangible virtue is already giving them vigilance, and this is a non-spirit, so you would consider putting it in there or not. Nico makes shards, treasure. The amulet, whenever you become the target. Okay, so we put counters, but all tokens get -1. Okay, that doesn't work for our deck, for the opponent perhaps. And then all of these other ones. Okay, so we have those items. Let's go in to add the Anthem effects. These are enchantments that give your creatures a buff. So if we organize by enchantments, I believe if we search get, we will, whenever you gain life, put a +1 counter. Paladin class, here we go. So here's one of them. Paladin class gives your creatures +1. We've got, there is a more efficient way. Control get, if we search control, we'll of course go through the various filters to make sure we don't miss anything, but this is part of the deck building process. Rally the ranks, choose a creature type, spirits. All your creatures get +1. Part of the deck building process. Whenever a creature has enchanted creatures, whenever a creature enters a battlefield under your control, this gets +1 until end of turn. So for the moment, we're looking at Anthem effects, which give all your creatures a buff. Target creature you control gets good stuff. We'll put our removal in a little bit. Whenever this attacks, tap target creature. This is a good attacker as a spirit. We'll focus on the creatures and such in a bit. Combat, target creature you control gets whatever. Fortifying. Okay, this one gets a buff for blocking. It's a common. Here we go. Glorious Anthem. All your creatures get +1. Love it. Heliod is amazing for life gain decks. Your Knight Tribal. Catilda, flying life link, protection from vampires. Power and toughness each equal to the number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments. Okay, so here's a good Spirit Tribal. Then we have an enchantment when we disturb. Enchanted creature has flying, life link, from vampires +X, or X is the number of permanents. So you can bring it back from the graveyard and give one creature a big old buff. Let's put that one in the deck. Path of Bravery, as long as your life is greater than your starting, you get +1. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, you gain life. Okay, this is kind of an interesting anthem based on life, so we'll add it to the deck. Radiant Destiny. Choose a creature type, give your creatures +1. Once you ascend, meaning you've got at least 10 permanents, they also get Vigilance. Get that in the deck. Humans you control get +1. Well, we're focused on a spirit deck, but if we were doing a little bit of everything, tokens type of deck, then that would be useful for that. Any tokens. Artifact creatures get +2. Thopter, Exile, etc. Trilo Solidary. When this enters, all your creatures get +2/+1 until Vigilance. Alright, so this is when this enters, your creatures get +2 and Vigilance for 1 turn. So it's not a permanent buff. It's not a permanent anthem effect. Perhaps if you also synergize with blink effects, make this come back and forth, it will automatically blink if you've got the cartouche, which I believe was over here. I'll come back to the cartouche in a moment. At the beginning of your end step, put an invitation counter. If you attack with 2 or more creatures, draw a card, otherwise create a human. Then if you've got 3, transform it. All your creatures get +1. Okay, so with transformation, you can get a buff. Is this worth it? At the beginning of your end step, put an invitation counter. If you attack with 2 or more creatures, draw a card. Otherwise, create a human. So again, depends how hardcore you want to follow the rules of deck building, that eventually all my creatures get +1. It might be a lot of effort to get it into the +1 territory, but if you want to make a lot of creatures and humans, you could add that to the deck. Angelic Exaltation. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +X, where X is the number. So maybe if you've got a creature that is unblockable with some menace or evasion or something, you can have one creature get really big. We'll put some of our removal package on a little bit later. Whenever another creature you control attacks, it gets +1 until end of turn. So that's for only one other creature. Supernatural Rescue. This has flash as long as you have another spirit. When you cast this, tap 2 creatures, they don't untap. Tap up to 2 creatures you don't control. Give 1 creature +1. Here's a great blink effect. Exile. Celestial Mantle. That art is epic. A creature gets +3, and when this deals damage, double its life total. Whenever an enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, double its controller's life total. Okay, that's pretty fun. It's 6 mana. But if you have a creature that didn't get blocked, you just keep doubling your life total. Again, perfect for the life gain deck. This deck isn't quite focused on life gain, but that's a one to put into the idea notebook. What else? When this, draw 2 cards. Whenever you draw a card, put a plus on 1. Here's a cartouche. Draw a card, give a creature +1. Cradle of Safety, enchant one of your creatures. Creature gets +1, gets hexproof. Whenever an artifact or artificer enters, get energy. Escape Protocol, whenever you cycle a card. Favorite creatures you control with flying. Okay, our spirits are going to be flyers. I think pretty much all. So all our flyers will get a little +1 boost. Scuttle Tide, discard, make a crab. Flash Enchantment, Binding Geist when this attacks. So here's one of our spirits. Although it's not a flying spirit. Poor little guy that can't fly. 3/1. Caliphate. Spells your opponent's cast to target this permanent, cost 1, so it's ward before ward. Eyes everywhere, exchanges stuff, tap your opponent's stuff. Giant Synergy, Identity, Enchantment. Actually, what's that one again? Sacrifice a creature. Take control of another creature, so you can sacrifice a spirit and take control. Good old Thassa with a blink effect. Tap a creature, return all creatures, take control of an opponent, make a Kraken, Each creature you control assigns combat damage. Okay, so it's based more on combat damage. So let me craft all of these for the moment. Actually, one more thing. I was going to say the cartouche. The one cartouche, when this enters, it makes a creature, gives it a +1. This is how we can blink back the Trial of Solidarity. We could put the 2 cartouches in there. Let me craft these so far. Save so far. It's a good idea to save your work every once in a while. Come back to the deck build. See all of the... How do you spell cartouche? Remember to turn on Show Not Collected. Again, if money is no object, or if you have the wild cards for it, remember to turn on Not Collected. Trial of Knowledge, when this enters, draw 3, then discard 1. So card draw effect. So we could have the 2 cartouches, although they affect only 1 creature at a time, but we might want them to bounce back the trial and play it. So here's the big brain tech, if you've got the mana for it. Play the Trial of Solidarity. All your creatures get +2/+1. Then play the Cartouche of Solidarity to bounce the trial back, then play it again. You're going to need 7 mana for that. But you can give all your creatures +4/+1. So consider that if you've got the mana for it. We also have the ability to instantly give your creatures a buff with an instant. All creatures you control get +1 until end of turn for a single white mana. I'm going to put in a package of these buff effects as well. Searching for these. A lot of these are mostly target creatures, so it's always good to find. I wish that Wizards would template these as all your creatures. Creatures you control. Okay, can we search for that? Creatures you. Creatures. Pro tip, if you use quotes, that also is a good way to search. Outflank deals combat damage. Nope. Creatures you control get +1 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, those creatures get +2/+1. Alright, so Dauntless Unity. Give all your little creatures a big buff. Zombies you control get +1. Other creatures get a +1. Alright, so it's just another way to make all your creatures at once just be huge. Kabira Takedown, Pride of Conquerors, all your creatures get +1. If you have the City's Blessing, they get +2. Okay. Rally of Wings, untap all your creatures. All your flyers get +2. Love that. It's going to be a big focus on spirits, of course. All your creatures get +1. Coven, if you control 3 creatures with different powers, they instead get +2. So at the very least, they all get the +1. All your creature gets +1 instantly. Fortify, choose either +2 or +. Alright, that's nice. So if we don't have a permanent anthem effect, we have plenty of instant anthems. Make a stand, give your creatures +1 and indestructible. At a certain point, you have to decide the mana cost. I'm doing plenty with 1 and 2 mana. We're going to 3 mana. That'll be great defensive. You untap you attacked. Maybe you used one of the other buffs to attack with. Then you're tapped out. Then they come in to attack you. Rallying Roar then untaps your creatures, giving them a +1. Unbreakable Formation. Give all your creatures indestructible. Or if you do it on your turn as sorcery speed, they get +1. They get Vigilance. And indestructible. They get indestructible, and they get the +1 and the vigilance. That's why that's rare. All your creatures get +1 or destroy a big creature. Well, at 4 mana, I don't know if I want to go to the 4 mana. We can have the 4 mana, give all of them +1. I think I've got plenty of the buff effects but there's plenty more here. +1, +3, and untap at 4. You can cycle that one. Warhorn, creatures you control get +2. And then the stratagem. Okay, so as I said, I kind of like to save my decks every once in a while in case there's a crash or something. We'll keep building the deck, but I want to build now the mana base. I haven't added any mana yet, so I'll start with Suggest. And I'll start with the suggestion, but we'll go with 20 and 20 for the moment. We're definitely going to craft this properly, but I want to save those at this point. And if you want to just pick the default lands that they give you, you can go for there, or you can put in some cool lands. I've collected some cool lands throughout the time I've played Arena. There's like these cool full arts. There's, yeah, those full arts are pretty nice. Got some vintage in a couple of spots there. Got the vintage border, which looks a little bit weird. They have black text, basic land, plains in the type line, but then here they put them in white, so that's kind of weird, hard to read. Now, because we're playing with 2 colors, we want to put in some fetch lands. So lands that search. We've got various evolving wilds. I want the Bob Ross evolving wilds at some point. So any evolving wilds that you like, maybe the newest one if you want. I always liked the Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, so we'll put that in there. We'll fix our mana base as well. But we want the Evolving Wilds fetch land, we want the Fabled Passage fetch land, and the Terramorphic Expanse fetch land. That'll be a few ways to fix it. Now, to be honest, the mana base, I think personally, is always one of the ones that I don't spend enough time on. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat to further get this mana base really humming. I'm just going to put one more dual land and I'll call it a day, because we just have a lot of options to do. We've got utility lands and all of that. That's one of the areas that I, to be honest, need to up my game a little bit on the utility lands. I often keep it pretty simple. But we'll put in one of the dual lands. We'll put a shock land in here if you've got one of those, or a plain old gate should work fine. Where's the shock land? We've got the hollowed fountain. And I'll just go with 40 lands. So 18 plains, 18 islands, 4 or 3 fetch lands, the 1 dual land. Again, I could put some of the scry lands, some of the, what do they call them, tango lands, check lands, etc. Snow lands. There's a lot that could be done, but I'm going to keep it pretty simple. It's just 2 colors. If I was dealing with more colors, we definitely have a harder mana base to put together. So I'll keep that. 40 cards. People love to go to 36 lands or even less than that. I've really found that 40 works very well, even at 2 colors, even at monocolor, because you can't play Magic without lands. So don't skimp on the lands. That's the #1 pro tip that you're going to hear from everyone, that put enough lands in there. Don't be afraid to start at 40, then fine-tune it as you wish. Okay, so in addition to lands, we also want to put in mana rocks. Actually, one more thing. The best multi-land, Command Tower. Let's not forget Command Tower. So we'll toss that in there. Decrease 1 regular land. Got Command Tower, 40 lands. How could I forget Command Tower? So next, fetch mana rocks. So if you search add, change your filter to only artifacts. We're going to have a variety of mana rocks. And so Arcane Signet is kind of an auto-include nowadays, for good or for bad. So that's going to go in there. Cold Steel Heart. I'm finding it is a great auto-include pretty much nowadays as well, because the nature, the purpose of these mana rocks is to fix your mana, but also to get more mana faster than your opponent. So we don't have Soul Ring on Arena, but we're definitely jamming all of the 2 mana mana rocks, and there's plenty. If you never searched through the collection, there's plenty. Cold Steel Heart comes in tapped. You pick a color, and then it's that color locked in. Arcane Signet, of course, is better, but this is a 2 mana, so you definitely play this on turn 2, get further than your opponent much faster. We've got plenty of others as well. Guardian Idol creates colorless mana, but again, it ramps you faster than the opponent, so that goes in the deck. We've also got Mind Stone, 2 mana, colorless. Later you can sacrifice it for a card draw. Pillar of Origins can be pretty good. You have to pick a creature type, then it gives you 1 mana of any color. I really like it, but I usually don't use it because it has the big downside of add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells of the chosen type. So you're not going to be able to use it for anything else. This would be the perfect card if it also said tap for a colorless mana. Maybe it would be way too powerful at that point. So, Pillar of Origins. Ornithopter of Paradise. Here's another 2 mana mana rock, which is a slash mana dork, a creature that makes mana. So that one could be another 2 mana addition. Then we get into the 3 mana rocks. Alloy, Mirror. I don't like the Alloy Mirror because it's a creature, it dies to removal. We have plenty of 3 mana rocks, Altar of the Pantheon, etc. Chromatic Lantern's amazing for 3 or more colors. Heraldic Banner's cool because it also is a Heraldic Banner is also a cool a buff, an anthem, +1 to creatures of the chosen color. So you can decide to put that in there if you want. But I've got the 2 mana rocks here. Signet, Heart, Idol, Mind Stone. One of those spots where I do break my own rule about really focusing in on the build of the deck is the Ornithopter of Paradise. It's not a spirit, but it's a 2 mana rock. I just cannot pass that one up, even though it's not a spirit. You're going to be an honorary spirit. We have 5 mana rocks to help versus the opponent. So I'm going to put that in there. Part of the way that I also build the deck is having some removal. Unstable Obelisk. I care for it more as for the removal, because for 7 and tap, sacrifices destroy any permanent. So anything that your opponent has, we can just get rid of it. Yes, it's a ton of mana. It's 3 mana to put onto the battlefield, and then 7 mana to use it. But this is part of the package of unmitigated removal. So I'm putting that in there. I also like the... what's it called? The Universal Solvent. This is 1 mana artifact that then pays 7 to destroy any permanent, including those troublesome lands. So these 2 completely get rid of any problem. I put those in most of my decks as just a perfect reset button. Because I'm also in white, I am also going to put the few board wipes. That if the game is getting away from you, these board wipes will help. So we're going to do Shatter the Sky, Wrath of God, Cleansing Nova, because that also can deal with all of the opponents. If we're dealing with a big artifact or enchantment heavy deck, that one definitely helps you. So we've got those 3. We've got Doomscar, and lastly Fumigate. So Doomscar, 5 mana, or Foretell it for 3, and then Fumigate, gain life. In blue, in Azorius colors, we could do Time Wipe, which lets you return one of your own creatures, then destroy creatures. So a little bit of a blink effect. And we've got other things, Undo Inversion, Realm Cloak Giant, the really mean Planar Cleansing. So I'm going to save my deck at the moment. That's the big board wipes that we might need. I like to throw in, this is all the sort of like the utility stuff of many decks. I like to also put in a few 2-mana draw spells. And the cool thing is that these are in artifacts, so color doesn't matter. Oops, not instant artifact. We have a bunch of 2-mana draw spells, actually. Potion of Healing, 2 mana. When this enters, draw a card, then later sacrifice it for life. But that requires white mana. So we also have the Golden Egg, Guild Globe, Ichor Wellspring, Prophetic Prism, and Sleeper Dart. So we'll put those in. We need a little bit of graveyard removal for the opponents. Soul Guide Lantern does its thing. Tormod's Crypt. And there's a brand new one in the new set. I don't remember its name just yet, but we will look it up here. Crimson Vow Artifact. Lantern of the Lost. So we have Soul Guide Lantern, now Lantern of the Lost. Lets you exile one thing when it enters, and then targeted removal of exile. So graveyard removal synergies are important. Those are the 3 things I'm putting in there regarding that. I'm just saving a little bit. Put in a little bit more removal, and then the final pieces of the puzzle with a variety of spirits. So the final removal, I'm going to go with exile effects. The enchantments that exile, so we can hit planeswalkers and other troublesome things. So we've got Banishing Light, exile anything, Borrowed Time, exile anything. We've got Prison Realm only targets creatures or planeswalkers. Then we've got a Scry effect. We might do that one. Cast Out exiles anything, plus cycling, plus flash. Conclave Tribunal grabs anything. And then Hieromancer's Cage versus Ixalan's Binding. Either or. Ixalan's Binding is overkill in Commander and Brawl because it doesn't allow anything to further get cast of the same name. Well, in Commander and Brawl, we've only got things with one name. So that is my pinpoint removal. We have other ones, of course, Journey to Oblivion, etc. And then we're going to put in our spirits. So, type of spirit. Did you know that you can use that keyword there? T for type, T colon, and then spirit will show you creatures of that spirit type. Because if you don't use that modifier, it's also going to show you other things that are not creatures, that are spirits. So to whittle things down, try searching type of spirit. Now, out of curiosity, what are some non-collected spirits that we might care about? Let's look at the multicolored ones. Devoted Graph, Keeper, Human Peasant, You Mill. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, tap a creature. Then Disturb as a 3/1 flyer. So that might be a possibility. Brine, Comer, it's a 1/1. When this enters or becomes the target of an aura, create a 1/1 spirit. Okay, we want this one in the deck because the enchantment synergy plus the Anointed Procession Synergy. Soul Herder. Whenever a creature is exiled from the battlefield, put a +1 on this. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile another target creature you control, then return that card. So we've got Blink. We've got a Blink effect. When your own creature dies, this gets bigger. Let's see some multicolored. I've already got Lifelink. Cards in graveyards cannot be the target of spells. Disturb as a 3/1. Whenever one or more creature cards are put into the graveyard, investigate. Empyrean Eagle. Other creatures you control with flying. So this is a buff for your flyers, but it is a spirit. It's a bird spirit. Okay, got a flyer plus a buff. Vega is another bird spirit with a focus on foretelling. Save what I've got so far. We'll give the deck a once-over as well, then we'll do a little bit of gameplay. All right, so we'll go back to type spirit. What are the non-collected ones? Seems like a lot. Fun fact, this is only the third ever Blue Cat, or was it the second? Blue Cat. They're mostly in other formats, but there's very few Blue Cats in all of Magic. Got the Departed Deckhand. I thought I already had that one, but that makes your spirits unblockable. Spectral Sailor, Flash Flying, draw card. I'll probably put that one in there. I think I've already got copies of these, but this is just the alternate art. So not as helpful. Actually, let's see what are the most recent Innistrad cards. So a lot of these are humans that then come back as spirits. Dawn, Heartgeist. Whenever you cast an enchantment, you gain some life. If we were doing life gain strategies, Spirit Soldier comes back as an enchantment. Fleeting Spirit, that is pretty epic art there. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard. This gains first strike. Discard a card. Exile this and blink it. Twin Blade Geist, Spirit Warrior. Got a double strike. Comes back as an enchantment for double strike. Voice of the Blessed, 2 mana. Whenever you gain life, put a +1 on this. Distracting Geist. When this attacks, tap creatures. Faithbound Judge. Or this is the one that the opponent loses the game eventually. At the beginning of your upkeep, if this has 2 or fewer judgment counters on it, put a judgment counter on it. As long as this has 3 or more, it can attack. So it's got defender, but if it's got judgment, then it flips. And then when it flips, it comes back as an enchantment when you disturb it for 7, where they have 3 judgment counters and then they lose the game. I think if you do proliferate, that's even better. Kindly Ancestor is about lifelink. Tapping a creature. Hippogriff Spirit. Flyer. So we have a 1/1 flyer. A Hermit, a Cat Spirit. Another Flash Flyer. When it enters, you may search your library for a card with flashback. Put it into the graveyard. Here's another Flash Flyer. We're at 100 cards, but this is just version 1 of the deck. Let me finish crafting that. Save that. So we have 100 cards, but let's browse the deck one more time. This is just pass one at things. So obviously when I show a complete video, I've already done this process on my own. So we have a lot of white cards, almost no blue cards. We might want to put in some blue focused cards in the realm of counter spells. We've got 12 creatures. We may want more or less. So I think I do want to change the creature count, and then I want to change the blue spells for some counters. So I'm going to browse the deck again, switch perspectives here. So the mana base is what it is. Okay, we've got a few of these graveyard removal items. There were 3 of them. Tormod's Crypt. Did you know you can rearrange this screen a little bit? So if I put these over here, these are all of the graveyard removal things. So 0 mana for that. This one is targeted removal. This one is removal, complete removal plus card draw. I'm going to say I'm going to put 2 of these because I like the targeted removal and then the mass removal. So charge is for one of these that is an instant buff. I might remove all of the instant buffs and keep just the enchantment buffs. So this one is an enchantment buff. Here's a creature. We've got the remove positively everything. Let me put those together. Also with Universal Solvent, Unstable Obelisk, and what was the third one? The absolutely, positively remove everything. Or was it only 2? Oh, we'll see it when we further browse. So the solvent plus the obelisk. Okay. So Unity, this is when I'm going to put all of the temporary instant buffs. So permanent buffs plus temporary buffs. Again, I'll probably remove all of the temporary buffs. That's perfectly fine to change your strategy as you build the deck. There's no wrong way to do it. Putting all the creatures just in a pile for the moment. Voice of the Blessed. Favorable Wings. Okay, our mana rocks. Put these off back over here. Cold Steel Heart. Golden Egg is the card draw. We'll see about that. Card draw, of course, is always important because you don't want to run out of cards, and there's many ways to do card draw. I kind of like, personally, these 2 mana cantrips. Some of them are synergized a little bit more because they also do stuff. But I like them for their 2 mana cost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Let me cut one of them already now. So that one also gives you life. This one doesn't do anything extra except colors of mana, which isn't really a big deal. This one, if you can get rid of it, it draws again. This one fixes your mana, and this one taps down a creature. Okay, with the Gilded Globe, don't quite need that, so whittle that down a bit. Mana rocks. We have all of these 2 mana ones. Ornithopter. I might not skimp on the mana rocks. That one's always important. Getting more mana is always more good, bad grammar aside. This is a creature, but it's also a buff, so I'll put it there. Banishing Light is for our targeted removal. Borrowed Time. Distracting Geist is a creature. Fortify is a buff or an anthem. This one is an instant buff. Make a Stand is instant. Path of Bravery is an anthem. Radiant Destiny is an anthem. Rally is an instant. Trial. That's an instant plus an enchantment at the same time. Until end of turn. This one kind of fits in between both. We'll put it here for the moment. This one is an instant. Oops, we put this bird in the wrong place. Here we go. Glorious Anthem. Catilda creature. Intruder creature. Creature. We have the Exaltation, Procession, which is kind of its own thing, but regarding buffs. Cast out, remove anything. Tribunal, remove anything. Binding. You're going to also not really want to skimp on the removal. You're going to kick yourself so many times that you wish you could get rid of something. Don't skimp on the removal. Board wipes, removal, targeted. Another, yeah, I have too many of these instant give buffs, so I'm definitely going to cut a bunch because we need more creatures. Spirit, Nova for removal. Board wipe. Another board wipe there. Fumigate board wipe. Spirit. Then we're over to our lands. Okay, so we've organized all our stuff here. I wish Arena would save this configuration. As soon as you click done, it all erases, unfortunately. So we have the 4. I can live with these 4 2-mana cantrips. We have 5 mana rocks. I would stick with... Definitely do 4. I would do 5. Mana is always important. We have the 2 delete, destroy anything at all. Keep those 2. We've also got Meteor Golem. It's not a spirit though, but you can put it there as another absolutely remove anything. Couple of graveyard removal things. We have the targeted removal here for planeswalkers or creatures or anything. So any non-land permanent, non-land. We have 5 of those. Again, don't skimp on the targeted removal. You're going to kick yourself when you can't get rid of a thing. And with board wipes, 5 board wipes. We could do 4. This one could also benefit the opponent. I don't think our creatures are going to be very big, and it could benefit the opponent. So I'm going to remove maybe Shatter. These are 5 manas. This is 4 mana, but there's that downside of possibly benefiting the opponent. Definitely Wrath. I've got the classic Wrath. Cleansing, it's got utility, either creatures or artifacts. Doomscar could be cheaper for later. Put it in Foretell Zone. They don't know what's coming. Fumigate, gain life. Prolong the game. This one's dealer's choice, but I'm going to say Shatter. Decks are more powerful when you have the cheaper version of a card, but if you craft your mana base plus your mana rocks right, then to a certain degree, mana cost isn't as a problem. Then we have all of these. Anthems. Now this one costs in total 4 to get online. You have to cast it as soon as you can, and then eventually pay 3, and then it gives +1. The Virtue is all about your tokens. Oh, this is one of the instant ones. Rally gives all your creatures, all your flyers. Oh, that's another instant. This is based on life, but you gain more life, so it's self-fulfilling. Destiny, I've liked that one for a long time. +1, and then Ascend gives them vigilance. All your creatures just a +1. A creature, we needed creatures, and it does the flying. It dies to removal, but I think it's a good addition. And then the Exaltation. This one gives an amazing buff to 1 attacker, but we're trying to go more for a go-wide strategy, so let's take that one out. We want all of our little creatures to get them all at once. I'm going to treat the Trial as an instant, and I have plenty of instant buffs, and I don't have the synergy to make it bounce back, so we'll cut that. And let's look at all the instants. So for 1 mana, give them all +1. Love it. For 2 mana, give them all +1. If we kick it, they get even bigger. Yelketra's Name. 2 mana, give them all +1. 2 mana, give them all +1. If you've ascended, give them +2. 2 mana, give them all +2. Untap all creatures you control. Creatures you control with flying get +2. So we do the untap. All your spirits will be flyers. Give them a +2, 2 mana. Ritual, give them all +1. If you've got Coven, I don't think we're going to be able to trigger Coven as easily as we'd like. Cut that. 2 mana, give them all +1. 3 mana. Okay, I'm going to cut the 3 mana ones. We'll keep it efficient with only... Oh, and one more enchantment. Put this one back here. We'll come back to those enchantments in a bit. So with all of the instants, 3 mana. Yeah, I'm going to cut all the 3 mana buffs. A lot of them do very good things, but we'll keep it more efficient with just 3 mana. This one is... Okay, this one is the one that creates tokens. Put that with here. And then 3 mana. Yeah, so we'll keep the 1 and 2 mana instant buffs, or maybe just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's too many. So don't care about those modes. 2 mana for a +2. If I've ascended, they get +2. +1. If kicked, so for 4 mana, they get +1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we'll have those. All right, that frees up a lot of our slots, 88 cards. So we'll put more creatures in. And the blue spells, we were going to put in some counter spells. Let's put in some counter spells before putting in the creatures, depending on how many counter spells. Now, depending how casual or competitive you want to be. Personally, I usually avoid counter spells in my blue focus decks. I know that's sacrilege, but I just think for a casual 1v1 format of Brawl, if we're in a 4-player commander game, I do put counter spells in there, but more defensive rather than offensive. If something's bad's gonna happen to me, counterspell it. But if the opponent is just trying to summon their Llanowar Elf, I wouldn't counterspell that. And for Brawl, because it's just 1v1, and again, it's more casual, you do you, but I feel we will put in a few counter spells here. So counter target. We have good old Mana Tithe. I want the absolutely counters, however. The conditional cheaper counters are okay, but we have the conditional creature counters, bunch of essence. We have essence capture and essence scatter. We have negate, but basically in the 3 mana range. I do love Tail's End, where you can counter the opponent's Planeswalker activations or any other triggered abilities. So we'll do the... If we're going to do counter spells, we might as well do the mean counter spells. We'll do the counter them plus mill them. Dissipate counter the spell and exile it. So instead of getting it to the graveyard, we have 2 counters so far. So we have the 3 mana convolute instead of double blue. Usually to pay the extra 4 is a big burden, so we'll put that in. Then we have the counter spell versus... It's got cycling, but I really feel like, why would you even have you're obviously going to counter something. Later in the game, yeah, maybe the cycling would work. We'll just put the absolutely, positively... Oh yeah, we've got Sinister Sabotage. So we'll put that one in. That's 4 counter spells in total there. It's more of an Azorius Spirits deck rather than Azorius Control, but obviously we have plenty more counter spells we could put in. I'm going to put in 4 at this point. Say what we've got, then round out the deck with more spirits. So that's version 2, and then we'll give it a little bit of gameplay, and then maybe even more refinement. I want to start with the newer. Let's go with the newest set. Mirror Hall Mimic. You may have this enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's also a spirit. So make a cool spirit and steal the opponent's cool creature. Disturb. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy, except it's a spirit. Enchant Aura. Enchant a creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted creature, except... Okay, so you put it on one of your creatures, and then make token copies. And with Anointed Procession, that'd be nice. So let's put that Mimic into the deck. Gutter Skulker cannot be blocked as long as it's attacking alone. So unblockability. If you want to do some synergies with unblockability, enchanted creature cannot be blocked. So give your creature unblockability. I don't have a lot of unblockability strategies, and we're going to go wide, so that might not be the best. Wandering Spirit, 2/3 flyer, can only be blocked by flyers. Dream Shacklegeist, 3/1 with flying at the beginning of combat. Choose up to 1. Tap a creature. Target creature doesn't untap. That one's pretty cool. So let's put in that one. Cemetery Illuminator, 3 mana, 2/3 flying. Whenever this enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from any graveyard. You may look at that card. Okay, so you're stealing stuff from the graveyard. Once each turn, you may cast a spell from the top of your library if it shares a card type with exile. Okay, so you're exiling their card, but then you may cast a spell. Let's read this again. Whenever this enters the battlefield or attacks, so you get it at least once when it enters, exile a card from any graveyard. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. Once each turn, either your turn or their turn, you may cast a spell, so not play a land. You may cast a spell from the top of your library if it shares a card type with a card exiled. All right, so if you exile any instant from your graveyard or their graveyard, you can play instants off the top of your library. The deck is not focused a lot on instants. Now, if it's a creature that got exiled, you can cast a creature spell off the top, but it doesn't have flash, so obviously you can only do it from your turn. So this could be really good in other decks, but probably wants you to play it more on an instance matter deck, or to fully craft some sort of flash deck. The Binding Geist. Steel-clad Spirit, 3/3 Defender. Whenever an enchantment enters, it loses Defender. Okay. Soul Cipher Board. It's an artifact. This has 3 omens. Pay 2, tap, look at the top 2 cards, put one of them into your graveyard. Whenever a creature is put into your graveyard from anywhere, remove an omen, then transform it. And then we get after this a 3/2, which can block. This can block only creatures with flying, and then draw 2 cards and discard. We have the Cat Spirit. Whenever this deals damage, draw a card. So 2 mana that draws cards. And when it flips, we've got card draw. Double-Gast Beguiler, that's the tapper. Kindly Ancestor, Faithbound Judge. All right, let's see some spirits from... Let's see some spirits from Historic. Angel Spirit. Got Proliferate. Enchantments make this bigger. You have a taxing effect with this spirit. When this enters, make some spirits then. Okay, so with our disturb cost, with our anointed procession, that could work pretty well. Discard Historic, give it indestructible. This has got flying on its own. Makes your creatures stronger. Okay, so I want that Spectral Sailor, Flash plus Flying plus card draw. We have an unblockable Spirit Deckhand. Murmuring Phantasm, look at that art. It's a Defender. Rattle Chains, 2 mana, Flash Flying, 2/1. When this enters, target spirit gains hexproof. You may cast spirit spells as they had flash. You may cast spirits as they had flash. If we couple that with that one other card I was talking a moment ago, we could cast off the top of the deck flyers. Might want to see about synergizing that. Shacklegeist can block only flyers. Tap 2, tap target. Supreme Phantom, other spirits you control get +1. Yeah, get in the deck. Kira, the Great Glass Spinner. Oh, this is the one that gives all your creatures ward. All your creatures get ward. That one's kind of amazing. Not even ward. They all get, well, they get ward 1. Yeah, we need that in the deck, definitely. And that'll get us into the 100 cards. So if we look at the deck again, actually, let me save it and then look at it. Look at its stats. 20 creatures, so I like to do at least 20 creatures. Depends on the deck build, of course. 32% or 54% is white cards, 27 is blue cards, 39 non-creatures, 20 creatures, and most of these are, well, they're all spirits, but some of them are also other things, like warriors. 9 instants, 4 sorceries, 13 artifacts, 14 enchantments, 40 lands. So there's still tweaks that we could do here. But let's play the first version of this deck and see about further tweaking things. I'm raring to play this deck. There's always going to be refinement to do. I'm going to make notes on the side here, so if you're really serious about all of this, you also kind of make notes and such to improve. All right, so we're playing, I don't remember this. I can almost always pick off what the commander is because people play a lot of the same things over and over. But here we have, oh, okay, it's Linvala from here. Activated abilities of creatures your opponents control cannot be activated. I have activated abilities, so that'll be annoying. 4 mana until they are online. Obviously, we've got removal, so that's not a big deal. But they're playing mono white. Mono white. Okay, so they might have their own pinpoint removal. We'll see how this goes. We got lands. We have one of the instant anthems. We've got a turn 1 play. We've got a card draw, and then a big creature, and then our turn 2 play. So let's give this a try. We've got card draw on turn 2. We've got our commander. Remember, we've got our commander on turn 2. Let's say hello to the opponent. And this doesn't have flying, so we'll just play it turn 1. Turn 2, we'll bring in our commander and do damage, because again, we want the enchantment side of things. Got a 4/4 on turn 2, the opponent is saying. Now they're going to have pacifism, they're going to have removal. one thing to make a note. No, I think we put it in here. Pinpoint removal, disenchant. That type of pinpoint removal. All right, so they're gonna go with that. Turn 3. What do we want to do for turn 3rd mana? We can wait for the Dauntless Unity eventually. We can bring in the Sleeper Dart, tap down their creature for 1 turn. Path of Bravery. Let's do Path of Bravery, actually, because then that's got some of this life gain stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't think that the deck was that overwhelming yet, but I guess our synergies, I guess the opponent just saw that our synergies are so over the top because, yeah, suddenly attacking with a 5/5 on turn 3 and another 2/2 and this path perfectly on ramp, on curve for turn 3. I was at my starting life. I hadn't lost any life. Let's read this again. As long as your life total is greater than or equal to, I kind of forget that sometimes. As long as your life total is greater than or equal to your life total, all your creatures get +1. I played this perfectly. I was on the play. I got no damage. Creatures get +1. Whenever one or more of your creatures attack, you gain 1 life equal to the number of attackers, so +2 more life. I guess they just thought that was way too much synergy. They were going to play their land and then make that into a 2/2 and bring us back down to 25, and that would have still been into effect. And I would have tapped it down with the dart. So, okay. Code red FPS. We have 100% win rate on this tech so far. I should keep track of that also. So we've got 1 play. That was a win. I have my stats tracker also. It doesn't show up on my recording here, but I've got the untap.gg companion, which keeps track of my win rate. So I could put that info in the deck. Okay, I go first again. I'm getting a lot of good luck. Turn 1 Lantern, which doesn't really do too much. If I get my second white spell, I'll have that. 3 mana for the Brain. This is all pretty low cost. I've got Tovalar. I have no removal. This is going to be Gruul. Werewolves. I have no removal in hand. I would feel safer with some removal. I'm gonna have a 4/4 on turn 2. Let's try it. I think it might have been better to do a mulligan, but go for it. Got red. They're passing with red. Okay, they got a shock in hand. Didn't draw a land, but I can play my commander already. They might have a lightning bolt or a shock. They might have a 1 mana haste effect. Alright, so now we're dealing with day and night. There's my 3rd mana. I can play Empyrean Eagle, attack with a 5/5. She'll go to the graveyard. I could target my eagle eventually. Yeah, let's just do a big old show of force. Maybe the opponent will also rage quit with a 5/5 at this point. I have to remember to let her go to the graveyard. Move your commander to the command zone. Decline. Stay in the graveyard. So now disturb for 3. That's got a frostbite, of course. What do you expect from a red player? Finesse? I think not. Alright, so 4th mana. Missing a white mana. I can enchant a creature. The only valid target would be to enchant the opponent, which you don't want, of course. In our Comer, it's just going to be a 1/1. We're playing against a red player. All our things are going to get torched. We can disturb. Well, we'll get at least one target. Well, let's have them burn their burn. See, they're already looking at their hand. Red cards go brrrr. Alright, so they're not torching it yet. But again, we won't hold our breath. They're gonna torch at the final step to see that they're doing. Red players, come on, be less obvious. I kind of love and hate ragging on red players, but they're just so obvious. I think it was also pausing for priority on green, so they might have Snakeskin Veil or a buff effect. They've got enough for their own commander. They haven't summoned it. I have no removal for the commander, so they're going to go for it. That is not day bound yet. I have a target with my little spirit. Draw a card off of that. Yeah, definitely need to remove Tavalar as soon as possible. Let's exile something out of their graveyard. Draw a card off of that. Okay. So, okay, actually, so mental note, that lantern does more than I thought. So, that was a whoops. That was a misplay. Exile lantern, exile all cards. I don't know why I thought that was a targeted removal. It's a card draw and a mass removal. Well, I get to recast the commander. Okay, here we go. There's our removal. So play that right away. Tovalar is OP. Snakeskin Veil? Nope. Okay, no Snakeskin. Good. Drop one more here. Guess we'll attack. Oh, they probably have a naturalize. They kept Tovalar under the Banishing Light, so they're going to naturalize. They either have the naturalize in hand or are hoping to get it. Green should have naturalize effect. Oops, they're going to spend their mana on that. Interesting. Either they accidentally didn't want to keep the okay, so let's try to protection from vampires but not werewolves. Power and toughness equals to the number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments. So I have 2 spirits, so it would only be a 2/2 for the moment. 2/2 lifelink against the red player. This is also a 2/2 here. Whenever you gain life, not quite doing life gain just yet. Guess what we want is our big old 4/4. So remember about that. That the whatever lantern exiles yourself as well. So that might be a change, possibly. This is currently game 2. Make a note of, they have plenty of ways to do 4 damage. Oops, they're going to steal me. They're going to steal me, and then they're going to eat me. Welcome, Mark. So what I'm doing is doing a live stream deck building video. I am building a deck, playing it, and then uploading and welcome Stevie as well. So we're giving it a shot with this spirit deck. to see how it goes. We're playing version 1 of it so far. We've got 1 win so far. Not getting the removal I need just yet. So, what we want to do here, we can recast. We're going to need blockers. We're already at 11. We're already at 11. So if we have double white. We're missing. This is funny. I have plenty of white mana, but I seem to be low on it. So that's just the RNG of it all. All right. So I can equip and make a 4/4. But so this is a little complicated. They've got too much power on the board. I'm gonna have to stabilize a little bit. So we'll have to hold back. Actually, they're gonna... No. Yeah, that Ranger class. This is not gonna go well. I need to... They're gonna pump their Ranger class, make their creature into a 3/3. They have red mana. They're just gonna torch... nope, they're gonna draw a card off of that. Alright, so... For this opponent, what would have been... I needed much more of the pinpoint removal. On a creature-based deck. I have the board wipes, but I just wasn't trying the board wipes. I have the removal for the creatures, just not drawing it. So hopefully we'll draw our big board wipe, or we're done for. We have a single targeted removal, so yeah, game 2 didn't go too well. So on a creature-based deck, I'll just try to go toward the end, but I'm not confident that this will work. They've already got 9 power on the board. And then if we exile with Tribunal... Yeah, we're dead. Well, I guess we'll give it the old college try, but we're going to go on to game 3 in a moment. Is this when they do their Snakeskin Veil? Nope. Okay. So they're still going to do 7 damage. They're probably going to do... They're going to attack, give the plus 7 damage, and then some instant or something. So we'll see how we die here. Ooh, we're going to do an Ugin. That's overkill. They're going to attack with everything and then do the final damage with Ugin. So, wow, amazing opponent. Ugin isn't even a wolf. So I'm going to give demerits to the opponent that your deck is dumb because Ugin is not a... They're not playing with the spirit of Brawl. Ugin is not a werewolf. Okay, so the triage for that match was that it was just a lot of creatures. If we had a Settle the Wreckage, that would have helped. Let's see about putting in a Settle the Wreckage. Also, let me double check my mana base. Yeah, we're good on the mana base. Settle the Wreckage would have helped against that opponent. Or the board wipe. We have plenty of board wipes. And like I said, I wish that this would... I already organized the deck, but then it unorganizes it. So for that particular, making my notes here, for that particular, we needed to remove their artifact. We needed to remove their enchantment, so that would have been the disenchant effects, which I think we've got enough of. And then eventually they had a creature, a mass of creatures, so then that would have been good to Settle the Wreckage. But we have... I think it was just the luck of the draw. So let's go on to game 3. Game 1 was won when the opponent just rage quit because our synergies came together too easily. Okay, we're dealing with mono blue Narset. Ooh, at least I've been able to go first every time so far. So making a note here as well. All of these have been on the play so far. Mono blue Narset. So I have my own counter spell. I get to go first. I have plenty of mana. I have my cost reducer. I have my... Yeah, this is a great curve because I will just play my commander right away, do a little damage, get her into the graveyard to do her effect. Unless they have a one-turn force spike. Nope. Maybe they have the unsummon here, or, yep, stern dismissal, fine. So we're definitely dealing with the opponent that is mono blue. Oops, okay, well they list. So I'm not sad at all. There we go. Take that, MTG Magistrate. I have no pity and no mercy for mono blue players that play Narset. In Brawl, especially. Brawl is a casual format. And if you're going to fill your deck with counter spells and Narset to deny the opponent card draw, I have no pity for you missing your land drops. So GG opponent. We'll take that win, but we have no real notes for that. Okay, next opponent. So far we've got a 50% win rate. We've got the first game that rage quit after our deck did its thing. We got the turn 2 werewolves that wrecked us. Actually, we've got it's 2 wins and 1 loss, whatever percentage that is. Math is not my strong point. Okay, let's go to the 4th game. We'll go to the 4th game. So the point of this stream is, I've been streaming so far 1 hour and a half. The point of the stream is we crafted the deck. We're playing the deck. Okay, so the opponent's got Planeswalker. Green, white, Planeswalker. That's what we know so far. This is the first time that we're on the draw. We have all blue in hand. We have an Arcane Signet and a counter spell and a creature. So I do have a turn 1 play, I have a turn 2 play, and we always have the turn 2 play in our commander. Because we're trying to play our commander, do a little damage, get her in the graveyard, bring her back and make spirits. We have the Conclave Tribunal to remove their Planeswalker. So we'll see what we do here. This will probably be a life gain strategy. Creatures you control have vigilance, gain life, blah blah blah. So let's see if they live the dream. Turn 1 lifelink creature. Turn 2 a Johnny's Primate. Let's see if they live the dream. Or that one other card, that one other creature that you gain life. When you gain life, you make it strong. Okay, so we'll flash in our Spectral Sailor. They have some pretty cool sleeves. I have that one too, but this is the Celestus artifact. I'm going with Nico Eris. They are the right colors for this deck. Azorius, so they're in the deck. They have a little sleeping bear. And we've got a Black Lotus. Okay, so turn 2, playing nothing, but passing with some priority. We'll flash in our Sailor, so they have priority for something white or green. Maybe some sort of buff effect. In green, I'm always worried about Snakeskin Veil. It gives the creature, all creatures or one creature, hexproof. Alright, so my own turn 2, I could Arcane Signet, but we want to get our commander out ASAP. Strike Terror. One of the things that I think also helps with this deck is to strike terror into the opponent's heart about having a 4/4 on turn 2 already. And once I get my buffs, I got a lot of Anthem effects in this deck, such as this Eagle. Once I get these buffs out, people will see a 5/5 on turn 3. Now in Selesnya colors, we have to of course worry about pacifism effects and the like. And I want to save my Conclave Tribunal for the right time. I have a Didn't Say Please. I could hold mana up for it, or hold it for maybe when... Obviously, the meanest play is to play... Okay, they're holding up a bunch of white mana, and then they rage quit. Okay, fine. They're seeing that I've already got a 5 damage on the board. But what I had the possibilities of what I could have done was played the Arcane Signet for larger things later. I could have played the Empyrean Eagle to give all my flyers +1. I would have attacked with 4, 5, 6. I could have attacked with 7 power on the board with the Eagle. Other creatures you control with flying get +1. I could have held my mana up for a disdainful, for a didn't say please, for a counterspell +mill. That would have been the meanest approach. But they felt that I was too fast with my stuff. So, fine, we'll take that win. Go on to game 5. The werewolf deck that we played has so far been the most challenging because it was a creature-based deck. It had a lot of red, so all my spirits were in peril from burn. To protect against that, we have various indestructibility effects, which I don't have in the deck, but that would be a way. Okay, so we're playing with mono black vampires here. They have their turn 3 Sorin. Most likely, if they crafted the deck well, they're going to play Sorin on turn 3, do the -3, and put an amazing vampire onto the battlefield. If they got the good draws and everything. So that's the number one thing to worry about. Removal for this, of course, means an exile effect or my counterspell there, but they're on the play, so they're going to be able to cast it first before I can counterspell. I have a Doom Scar to do a board wipe. I would feel much better if I had in hand the exile enchantment. If I had the O-Ring effect, opponent is still thinking. Maybe one of the things that I really will change in the deck is I probably will remove the temporary buffs. I'm never a fan of them, but yeah, this Sorin, right away as soon as you summon it, on turn 3 you can cast your 7 mana vampire. So people love that effect, and I don't doubt that that's what they have. People love that effect. So for myself, I could drop an island and then have a flyer ready to attack. Maybe I'll just flash cast in the flyer at the right turn so that then I can attack their planeswalkers. So let's give it a shot here. We're going to play our fetch land. Turn 1 vampire. Everyone always plays that. There's like no... I never not see people get so lucky that they always play their turn 1 Death Touch Lifelinker. Arena loves to give them that. Alright, so I did get the removal. I got the O-Ring effect. So let's drop a fetch land and do the mean play, where I won't crack it until a response. Alright, so we got kill your creature, mine gets stronger. So that'll be annoying. But let's take a moment to go grab a plains. So as long as I don't have a creature, this won't get stronger. So I won't cast my commander yet, because it'll die right away and make that stronger. I could play my Arcane Signet. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll play Arcane Signet. That'll give me 1 mana, so that then I can flash in the Sailor. And Mana Ramp. They're going to play their turn 3 Sorin. Let's see what huge creature they drop. I also have the Doom Scar coming to do their board wipe. Alright, so let's see. What are we in for? -3 or +1? -3. Here we go. Huge vampire cheated in. Not that scary. a 4/4 with life loss. So okay, fine, not so bad. But here's how we're gonna make them suffer. Oops, we're flashing in a 1/1. We're not gonna block with it, and then your Planeswalker's dead. Next, we just need our board wipe. We are, if we get our 5th mana, we don't even need to do that. They're going to be up to 3. They're going to be on their 4th mana next turn if all goes well. I could tuck away the Doomscar so that it's cheaper, but then I'm out of mana. I could hold up my mana for a counterspell. Let's hold the mana for the counterspell because they're going to have removal. They need removal for them to make their Malakir Callblade larger. There's their 4th mana right on Q. Creatures can get +1. Flash removal. We can draw a card off of the Sailor. Take 6 damage, take 7 damage or something. That's fine. Next turn is board wipe. Okay, let's draw a card off of the Sailor. Probability will be that they will have their 5th mana next turn and then summon their commander. I could hold up my counterspell for that, although I'm going to get another 7 damage next turn. I could wipe the board now, but then I don't have the counterspell. I have the instant cast out plus a blocker. Yeah, let's pass. We'll hold up the counterspell, and then we'll have a blocker. There's their 5th mana right on cue. See if they resummon their... Nope, they're going to do a replicating ring. Okay, fine. I'll let you have your mana ramp. No more priority. Moving on to attacks. Okay. Probably attack with the big old creature there and the little creature there. Fine. I'm fine losing... Well, I guess to stem the tide of loss of life, I will block the big creature, draw a card off of it, then board wipe next turn. They have 3 mana left, but they didn't have priority. Yeah, it's not pausing for priority, so I think we'll be okay. Draw a card off of that, block 4 damage. Your Callblade gets big just as your strategy was. But all for naught. Alright, so next turn they can summon, they'll probably next turn summon their Planeswalker again, and then do the minus effect to bring a creature back from the graveyard, which won't be worth it that much. You may... Oh no, this is not the one. It's the other Sorin. The black-white Sorin lets you get vampires out of the graveyard. This Sorin lets you play for free any vampire out of the hand. They have 7 mana. They can recast their Sorin, but they don't have a good target for the +1, and they don't have a good target for the -3, probably. And we've got removal. We're tapped out, but we've got removal. So we're definitely doing the longer game versus the opponent. Huh, they're passing. Okay. Passing. Are they afraid of my 1 blue mana open? They probably have removal then. They need a target. They need a target. Okay. Got a board wipe. Okay. So let's set up for my anthems. So 2 anthem effects. Hold the counter spell, hold the flash O-ring. I could cast Dorothea and have them burn their removal, because I want Dorothea in the graveyard anyway. So yeah, let's let them burn up a murder. Huh. It didn't pause for a priority on my turn, which might mean they don't have that. Okay, so one note to make here. They have a special land. I didn't put any land removal. So we can do the Field of Ruin or the Ghost Quarter to deal with special lands. 6, 7, 8. They have 8. They have 8 mana in total. This could be, unfortunately, this could be a. I was going to say this could be a Torment of Hailfire with in mono black. They might save up a bunch of mana for a Torment of Hailfire. All right. So what are we doing here? We can ascend now. So let's use up this Pride, give all creatures +2. It's pausing for priority for something. It could be either their special land or a murder. So that's a 7/7 for the moment. Alright, 7 damage. Dorothea goes to the graveyard. When playing this deck, remember to select Decline so that she stays in the graveyard. Guess I'll play a land. Don't need to bluff. We have enough mana to cast out. We have enough mana to counterspell. They haven't been really playing anything meaningful. What does this Tyrite Sanctum do again? Tap it, add, colorless, 2 and tap. Target legendary creature becomes a god. Put a +1. 4 and tap. Sacrifice this. Put an indestructible counter on a god. Thanks for coming to hang out. See you again on the next stream. Alright, so what are you doing, opponent? You're playing a bunch of lands. I know there's a Torment of Hellfire coming. It's too good to not put in your decks. Even though it's... Well, I guess it fits with any deck. As I said, I usually like to play decks that are very on theme and synergistic. If this is a Spirits deck, everything's a Spirit. If I was doing a Vampire deck, everything's a Vampire. But we'll see what Shadow Master is up to. I forgot. Does anyone remember on this 5th game, was I on the draw or was I on the play? I was on the draw. I remember I was on the draw. Yeah, let's counterspell that. Sorry. Plus mill you a little bit. Oops, that's some good stuff that got milled. Gonna time out. Looking at their graveyard for a Disentomb, return it to back to your hand. Fine. Really want that. I guess I'll Cleansing Nova next turn. And then they're out of cards in hand, so that's fine. We'll save the cast out for their Planeswalker. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cleansing Nova. Then we'll cast our Dragskull Infantry. Next turn, equip with Dorothea, and then make a spirit, do massive damage. Oops, we got a wandering whatever. Okay, so I could play the Unstable Obelisk, but then that's not enough mana to destroy their Wandering Archaic. That'd be 10 mana in total. I don't have 10 mana, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 mana. I need 10 mana if I want to do this all in one turn. I guess it's not too much to worry about if they summon their Sorin. They need a creature for it to be a target. Let's exile this Archaic, because it's going to steal my spells. And then hope that we get some more Planeswalker removal. Then we'll cast Dorothea. Maybe this will just trigger them to rage quit. But actually, can we do 1, 2, 3? That's not enough. Let's equip Dorothea, spirit on spirit action, attack, make another spirit. There we go. Alright, so what did they top deck? Finally some removal, maybe? So that's the point of this deck. You make a 4/4 attacker out of nowhere. And because I've got the Anthem, target or creature tokens you control get +1, it's now a 5/5 attacker token. Obviously dies to removal. And they pulled something, but they're not playing anything, so maybe they didn't pull anything good. Oops, that's one of those. Okay, fine. It would be best to remove that before attacking. They'll Sorin. They'll +1. Or do they want to Tyrite? Nope, they're gonna Sorin. Alright. So, untap all your creatures, they gain you control with flying. This is one of my non-flying spirits. So yeah, I think one of the big changes I am going to make is remove all of these instant buffs. 2, 3 for an obelisk. So we suddenly have 2 attackers. So their Planeswalker's definitely done. They'll block my... Oop, they didn't block my floor creature. Okay. I guess we'll just untap this to have a blocker. So now they need to pay 6, 7. They need to pay 7. They have enough mana. So I guess they can recast their commander. Make that into... Yeah, so make that into a 5. They can make that into lifelink with 5. And then can't block profitably. But then they don't have a blocker... But then they don't have a blocker for... Okay, so they're attacking without the buff. Interesting. What is the game here? +1, give a creature +1. They didn't give it +1. That's weird. It would have survived. If they gave their creature +1, it would have survived this attack. Sacrifice a creature, you may have it do 3 damage. So maybe they want to do damage to me thinking I won't block, then they'll do the +1 to kill theirs plus mine. And then they might have a some sort of return spell in hand. -3, put something directly into hand. So I'm out of cards. Taking 4 damage. Still alive. Yeah, they're gonna do that. Sacrifice their vampire to kill my vampire. Yep, exactly. And then they're gonna bring something back to life. Okay, so commander back to the command zone. Bring a 2/2 tapped, and then they're tapped out. Okay, well, I have enough for an unstable obelisk to destroy their planeswalker. Is it profitable to keep destroying their planeswalker? We're at 8 life. I could destroy their creature instead. Can't do both, though. I could bring out my own 4/4, but then I just have to block. Then I don't have any good target. So I need 4 plus 7. That's 11. I don't have 11 mana. 5, 6, 7, 8. I had 8 mana. Yeah, I can't do my thing yet. I should have brought out the I should have brought out the universal solvent. 5, 6, 7. No, that yeah, I should have brought out the universal solvent for one more reset button. This one keeps coming back. Crashing drawbridge. Okay. Okay, I think we'll be kind of okay for the moment. Build up our presence here. Draw something good, maybe. They have no legendary for the Tyrite to do anything. Drop that in case we need to eat that egg. Oops, they're already at 8. Oh, that's already at 8 mana for that, 8 turns for that ring. So now they've got a bunch. Let's give them props for that, for having so many replicated rings now. They have all the mana in the world that they need. All right, definitely get rid of that as soon as possible. Oh, crashing drawbridge. Oh man. Okay, we're gonna tap that. This is not good. We're gonna tap that, then I have to block. They're gonna pump it up. Ugh. Such a good card for such little mana. Man. They can pay twice. Yeah, this is devastating. A 1/1 devastating. Okay, fine. We've got to block that. They're gonna pump it. We're dead. Then we have to get a board wipe or something. We're gonna plus with all of those rings. Such a good card for such little mana. They're gonna get so much life off of that. Wow. That was the top deck of the century for the opponent. And then enough mana for that. Okay, well, the tide has turned. I don't know. GG opponent. I really needed a board wipe. They're just gonna pump all of their... they're just gonna put all their mana into that... into that Legion. I needed a board wipe. So top deck of the century. Okay, let's go on to the next game. Things were going well until they top decked a 1-mana creature, but it's a good creature. Dakota Devil is the opponent here. They go first. No white mana. I have the Mimic. They're playing black and green squirrel tribal, so that definitely needs a board wipe. They're going first, so they'll be able to get out their squirrel lord first. Here's my anointed procession. One of the big ways that this deck was put together was that we were trying to duplicate make tokens quickly. Two, 2, 4, 2. Passing A. So here's the example where I got 2 fetch lands at once. We'll deal with that later. All right, so it's pausing for them for what? Don't tell me they've got a plummet. Would the algorithm betray me that much? All right, so they've got their 3rd turn. Squirrel. I don't have any removal yet. Didn't play a land, unfortunately. Okay, here I can afford to play that. We'll do double white just to be safe. They've got double green. What is that? Maybe a fog effect. They have priority. We can do the fog effect. Oh, okay. So they missed the land drop. We've got Dorothea in the battlefield. Next turn. Okay, here's the big brain play. I need anointed procession on the field next turn, although they're playing green, so that'll probably naturalize. There's their black mana. There's a squirrel. Okay, so this is a lot of setup, and it can easily fall apart. But what I want to do here is have that procession on the battlefield. Please don't naturalize it. Hey there, Alicia, how are you doing? We're doing the stream to craft the deck, play the deck, and then improve the deck. So they didn't play a land. They're missing their land drops a lot. All right, so what I want to do is have my anointed procession I want to have my anointed procession and the next turn attack with a with some spirits. Okay, they got landfall. Are they gonna? Yeah, they're gonna get landfall, of course. They can't miss so many land drops this much. Wow, they did the thing. They have their... They did the best of all worlds. They did exactly what they needed. They have a single mana left. Don't tell me this is a bite effect. Right? Go ahead with your 4/4. They could still do a sacrifice. They have a 2/2 sacrificial. Nope. Okay, fine. So the idea is that I've got that made a cool sound. And then attack with that. Oh man, or do they have the sacrifice ability? Sacrifice one squirrel, something gets -X. Okay. So I'm attacking with 8 power. Can I kick this? Yeah, I can kick this. Give everything even more. Yeah, let's kick this. Suddenly, that's a lot of power in the air. That's a 4-3, and there's 2 6-5s in the air. Only in my dreams. So, oh, down to 5 life already, eh? Although then I'm tapped out. They've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Their landfall. Ooh, they just. I need my board wipe next turn. But their synergy's finally coming together. Sacrifice 2 squirrels to -2, my only blocker. Fine. Dorothea back to my hand. What else? Blessed Geist, 3/3 flyer. Serith, other tap creatures you control have death touch, other untaps have hexproof, untapped target creature. Okay. So that's a thing. What do I need to do? So I could get that 3/3 out. Three mana in total. We have no more squirrels to sacrifice, perhaps. Scutes, okay. Definitely need that board wipe. And a land drop, of course. Come on, board wipe. There's 5 of them in the deck. Got lots of mana. Got the squirrels. Everything's hexproof. Come on, board wipe. There's 5 of them in the deck. Mana dork, sure. Okay. I guess you can attack and then untap with vigilance or something. That'll make them use their mana, and that will make them eat their own squirrels. I no longer have a blocker. That returns back from the graveyard. Fine. Alright. 3 mana left. I'm dead next turn almost. So it's not a board wipe, but not that great either. They're definitely looking at their they're looking at their targetable creature, but this is where they play their snakeskin veil. See, they're looking at their own creature because obviously they have the snakeskin veil ready, of course. Or the sacrifice your creature, draw a card effect. Nope. Okay. So fine. Nothing's got hexproof anymore. But I'm gonna get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm gonna get 18 damage. So we're not gonna make it. Needed that board wipe. 1 lone blocker, easily removable, and then we're dead. So even if I block the 5/5, well, they're just gonna minus those squirrels. Yeah, we're completely dead. So okay, that was an example where we needed that board wipe. There are plenty in the deck. luck of the draw. So we've got 3 wins so far, 3 losses so far. Let's go on to the 7th game. I'm going to go 10 games in total, and then that'll be the deck. Actually, let's make a change right now. I think the losses I've had so far have been when creatures have gotten out of hand for the opponent. I'm going to remove these. Again, it's too much of a bias, but I'm not a fan of these instant spells that do stuff. And I know the opponent can always make them work better than me. I'm not a fan of them. I've got too many in the deck. It's all of these Dauntless Unities and stuff. So if the deck was go wide enough, then they do stuff. But I'm going to take them all out and instead put in more targeted removal, because I think that's what's been really affecting on these last losses. That I guess I didn't even have that many anymore. Oh, I had charge. I think these last losses have happened from just not removing enough. I've got all the board wipes. Actually, I think there's maybe one or more that I could add. But let's put in some more targeted removal. So we've got Shatter the Sky. And then for 2 mana removal in white, Fateful Absence, Swift Response. So are we then saying that it was just the... Are we saying that it was just the luck of the draw so far, or skill and such? I don't think we can go wrong with more removal, because if the opponent has threats, we want answers. And something like +1 my creatures, if I've got a big board presence, is good. But I think we saw clearly there were a lot of creatures on their side that were very synergistic. The landfall creature that made tokens, and then their main commander that doubled their tokens. So I think more pinpoint removal is always a good thing. One more board wipe as well. So the game would have definitely turned around. We had plenty of chances to get that board wipe. And then when I see this command right away, I really dislike that commander, especially if they have first turn. So let's we've got to mulligan aggressively into this. They've got turn 1. They've got obviously a well-crafted deck. So I'm going to mulligan until I get removal, because we need to remove Nicol Bolas instantly, or that deck gets out of hand. So let's see Magic RNG if they cooperate. I have plenty of Planeswalker removal, so... Well, it starts off as a... well, actually... That would destroy that... Okay, so Nicol Bolas, when it first enters, it's a creature, but then it transforms into an amazing Planeswalker. If they attack, and I still have this in hand, that's good. But as soon as you summon Nicol Bolas, you have to discard. So... Okay, Fateful Absence, I can live with that. So let's keep this. We're on the draw. Hopefully they don't have turn 1 Inquisition of Kozilek or any such turn 1 removal, because that'll screw us up. And they will see what we've got. So right away when I see this Nicol Bolas deck, I personally concede, because this deck is too much trouble, but we'll give it a shot. As many people love to remind me that it's not over until it's over, but I think if you play enough Magic, you kind of see the future. So what we got? Turn 2, nothing yet. All right. Let's build up our... Let's not give them any... So we got to worry about counter spells, we got to worry about pinpoint removal, we've got to worry about hand manipulation. With that deck. With Grixis colors, that's what's in this deck, so... And a Narset. Okay, so now there's another thing to deal with. No, that's going to be no card draw, at least. So we get to see what they pull. They've got a Swan Song. There we go, counterspell. So next turn they're going to have enough mana to bring in their Planeswalker. I could bring in my creature. Yeah, there's just so much to deal with that deck. I don't know why I'm putting myself through this. Okay, so let's wake up our idol. No one expects this little mana rock to do that, and then that sort of negates their Planeswalker. Then if they summon Nicol Bolas, I have to discard something. Let's discard, I guess, the Disturb creature. There we go, right on curve. Nope, instead they're gonna Thoughtseize. Exactly, see? This is that deck. Grixis is just full of every answer. I guess they have another hand disruption. If they went with my Disturb creature, I can just cast it again. Alright, they're gonna mill me, I guess. Not really care about that. I have my Ixalan's Binding. Don't really need to remove their Narset, but it might affect something later. They're probably going to wait for one more mana so they can cast their Nicol Bolas and have the Swan Song ready. There we go. Ascanta, okay. So Swan Song is a counter spell. So annoying. Okay, so I want to remove that Ascanta, and I have plenty of removal for it. I have the Ixalan's Binding, but I want to save that for the Planeswalker, but they've got a counterspell. So I'm going to burn. I'm going to make them burn that counterspell by trying to summon my commander, which I could just summon from the graveyard. Then I know they have at least one less counterspell. It is pausing for priority, so what do they have? They have something that they could still play. With 3 mana. Okay, so we'll let them use... Well, we can maybe make them use up their counter spell on those wings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 mana. I need 6 mana to do the 2 things that I want to do. I want to get rid of that Ixalan's Binding, but they've got a counter spell for it. This is a hard counter, right? Counter it plus give me a bird. Counter me and give me the bird. So let's say... I guess we'll do it this way. Yeah, we'll force them to try to counter... Oops, they didn't counterspell that. Counter target enchantment, instant, or sorcery. Whoops, I should read the card. Okay, so they're definitely going to hold on to that to counter my Fateful Absence. But then I've also got an Ixalan's Binding. Eventually, they're going to scry into good stuff. I should have read that Swan Song better. I would have tried to play the favorable wings. Okay, though they're going to steal my... Well, that's fine. They're tapped out because then I'll just... I guess I'll burn my removal here. We'll just put all this pressure here about... Got all these flyers. Hopefully that will make them actually act. Then I got a cleavage card right here. Here's Retribution, but I need to pay 6 mana for it to destroy a creature. They have a Clue. They have a Counterspell. They have an Ascanta. But we have a Hulk. 2 cards in hand. We've got hard removal with the Binding. As soon as they summon Nicol Bolas, I have to discard. So I need to hold a land in my hand when they eventually summon that Nicol Bolas. I don't know why it took that long to decide to bottom a land. They have the new bat token here. Alright, fires. They get to play one more spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They get to play a spell for free for 5, which might be their commander, which would be fine, because then I discard the Retribution and then Ixalan's Binding. But then now I've got to deal with yet another thing to destroy. See, this is why I hate that deck. It's just got too many. It's 3 colors, good stuff, and then I have to have so much to deal with. Obviously, I just need a disenchant, and there's plenty in the deck, but I just need to draw them. So let's see what free thing they play. The best thing for them to do is play Nicol Bolas. But I think even then they're going to play it for free, and then I've got to get rid of it next turn. I can't even use my removal for the fires. I need to draw 2 removal spells at this point. Why are you passing? You can cast spells only during your turn, so it's going to turn off their counter spell. Okay, fires is going to turn off their counter spell. You can cast spells only during your turn, and you can cast no more than 2. They've already cast 1 spell, they have 1 spell left. If they pass, they cannot counterspell me. They have 5 mana. They have 5 free mana, plus tap for 5 more. They have 10 mana next turn. What are you doing? If you're passing, that's not good. Okay, I'm safe from counterspells. So, if I spend all my mana on Ixalan's Binding, I will decrease their mana ability. But they're going to get their amazing creature out. And then they're going to transform it, and then I have to deal with a Planeswalker. Way too much to deal with. Let's just go for a huge attack. Maybe scare them into conceding, but even at 1 life, they still have the advantage. Alright, so keep stuff in hand for when they summon their commander to discard something. Probably what they're gonna do is free cast their commander and then have enough mana to transform it right away. So then I've got 3 cards in hand, and then I can Ixalan's Binding. So let's see. Plus they get to scry before they draw, so let's see. Alright, they have all the mana that they need. That's how I would play it. Play Nicol Bolas for free from your fires. Transform it right away with all your free mana. So I'm going to discard 1 thing. I'm going to discard that. They're going to flip it right away, make me discard another thing. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to its owner's hand. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal damage, draw a card. Okay, it's not so bad. But they still have all that mana to work with, so they can transform right away. When they transform, +2, draw a card, -3, deals 10 damage to target creature. Interesting. You have enough mana to transform, don't you? What's going on here? Okay. You have no counter spells, but you can crack your clue. Yep, crack your clue. It auto-tapped for me a little weird again. Fine. Going to draw that. Arcane Signet. Alright, keep that blocker. Whenever one or more creatures you control deals damage, draw a card. Okay, so I need to keep that blocker. Grazilix. Grazilax. Do not want. They still have plenty of mana to recast their commander and transform. I don't know, maybe I'm dealing with a slightly inexperienced player or they're playing on the next level. But that's what I see out of their cards. They have the free mana out of fires. They could free cast their commander and flip it right away. That's not a tap ability. I guess they're rereading their swan song. It is an instant, which gets negated by your Fires of Invention. Okay, there we go. Have to discard my Arcane Signet. And then I have that Retribution that I... Please don't make me discard. They can't transform. Okay. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. I thought they would be able to cast it for free and then keep all their mana open. That's weird. I wonder if it auto-tapped for them weird. Alright, oh, that's what that does. So if you can recast Graxalixes. Fine, that was a turn. Okay, Fumigate. Do I want to Fumigate? Yeah, I should Fumigate, because I need to get rid of that Grazilix. Yeah. Don't tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, that's still going to tap me out. And there we go. Grazilix, get out of here. They would have enough mana to resummon Nicol Bolas anyway, and then I lose my 1 removal in hand. So I need to really rely on that removal. King Sushi. Okay, drop a land. Transform. What does that do again? Something about... Oh, it's just more scry ability. Play that for free, drop my removal. I guess they're waiting for me to be tapped out and then they're going to transform. I can awaken my idol. I can awaken my idol and fill it up with enchantments and then take out their planeswalker. Okay, I think I can do that. Hopefully they don't destroy my idol before they switch to my turn. Come on, opponent, you can play one more thing. Play one more thing. Reading the card explains the card. You have the best cards in the game. Don't tell me you just net decked this and jumped onto the queue. Read your cards. So I've been streaming for 2.5 hours so far, and the plan was to build the deck, play the deck, craft the deck, and then of course that'll be my Friday Magic video. I need to go back in and put all of the chapter stops so that people can jump around through the video. I've only put the parts where I win. Or I could edit the video to only show what I want. Okay, they passed. Interesting. So, they didn't transform. What are they doing? Okay. So, what can we do? This lantern actually is a horrible card for me at the moment. It's going to exile my whole graveyard. Man, that was one of the worst cards to draw. Alright, so I should just pass, wait for them to flip, and then send in my idol. That flippability. That flippability is an instant. I don't know if they don't read their cards. That would be helpful. An instant flip ability on that. Wow. I better not point at it too much so that they don't read their own card. Huh. They didn't flip again. Weird. Does this person know how to play their deck? Are they just going to attack with a 4/4? They're finally reading their own card. So they might attack and then flip. Okay, that's fine. But they could have flipped last turn and had a nice shiny planeswalker ready to attack with. Okay, there's the flip. Oh, it says activated only as a sorcery. Whoops, reading the card explains the card. That would be too powerful. So only as a sorcery, fine. So what are they going to do next? Put target creature or planeswalker card from any graveyard onto the battlefield? Ugh, they could -4 right away and take my own commander. Come on, get greedy, +2, +2, +2. Nope, they're looking at my graveyard. They're going to take my own commander. They're not going to -3. There's no creature target. Yeah, they're looking at my graveyard. I'm going to take my own commander, which is fine. Not really, but they're going to take their own creature. Okay. They're going to take their own Narset. Okay, that's not so bad, actually. That was a cool effect. They are going to grab something off the top, but all of their instants are negated because of their own fires. How long has this game been going on? And it goes even longer because the opponent doesn't know how to... now they have an 8/8 Kraken. Come on, I need to draw my board white. And then they're going to be able to steal anything that they want. Sorry, everyone. This has been a waste of time. They have every single card. With those colors, they have every single card, and there's just way too much to deal with removal. I need a board wipe to remove their 8/8 hexproof. I need removal for their 2 planeswalkers, and then I need removal for that enchantment. So, and then they're going to tap me out with that enchantment. So it's just a waste of time. I knew right away that I shouldn't have wasted my time on the Nicol Bolas deck. That is definitely one of the... And even though it seemed like the opponent barely knew how to play the deck, see how it's just kind of an automatic win with that deck. It's just they must have gotten the deck off of howtowinbrawl.com and then plugged it into their account and then face rolled a win. Yarak is another one that is very annoying to play with, so we'll see how it goes here. But this one might be another one. At least I get to go first. I have the Retribution, if I can cleave it. I have my Command Tower. They mulligan. Yarak is another one of these just CEDH decks, this opponent will probably know how to play it properly. I have a flash flying creature. They're going to have removal. That will Mind Stone next turn. Draw a card. Tap down their mana dork. I'll have 5 mana next turn for Retribution. Alright, fetch land. That sets them back a little bit. Three mana, passing with 3 mana. Okay. That could be any number of things. Counterspell or removal, so let's burn off one of their, or maybe 2. Let's bring out a 1/1. Attempt to. They're looking at their hand. They have priority. Okay, so let me let you also do that again. Guess a 1/1 double strike looks cool. Cool target. And I can finally flash in that Rattle Chains just in case. Passing with absolutely nothing. Weird. Let's see if they get greedy. Yep, Yarok right away. Okay, sorry. Greedy opponent. But when you play that amazing commander, no mercy. There we go. Smothered by cleavage. That is cleaving, paying the cleave cost of my spell. You know what I mean. There it goes. So next, 2 more turns until Yarok returns. Alright, 1 more turn, so I need to pull some removal. These get disturbed as enchantments. Gonti, Death Touch 2/3, okay. And it gets to steal something right away. They would have loved to double steal from me, but they'll have to settle for a single steal. I know I got a lot of cool stuff, but just pick something and move on. I wish this would have a game timer where we could see how I'm always efficiently playing the game versus the opponent. So looking at my notes here, I've been on the draw 4 times. I've been on the play 4 times. The 3 times that I've won, 2 were on the play, 1 was on the draw. The 4 times I've lost, 1 was on the play. Oh, okay, they're going to do some sort of Neoform shenanigans, unfortunately. They're going to go into a 5 mana terror. Alright, so one of these things, when it dies, something happens. Combat damage. It gets stronger with combat damage. Okay, so I need simply to remove it, but easier said than done. So, I don't know. Am I getting way too few? I can't even do that. Well, no, that's going to be a flyer. So I'm going to send that in the air. Bring in something on the ground. Attack in the air. Another attacker in the air. If they attack me, I can lock down. I can lock down their attacker for 1 turn. They have my card that they stole. Oops, they're gonna mind flame me. Okay, so that's a big problem. I'm gonna take my own amazing creature. They missed a land drop, so that's good. They have my card that they took, so I'm sure it's a good one. It's some good removal. There we go. Yeah, that is a very good card. So that is very bad. Of course, my card is a very good card because I put it in the deck. All right, so we got 4 mana for them untapped. They finally have their final mana for Yarok. I need that board wipe. I feel like I haven't really gotten any board wipes in all of the times that I've been playing. I definitely need it. Vraska, fine. They'll be able to target anything of mine. Instead, they'll sacrifice my own creature. Yeah, you've got to do that. Sacrifice my own creature. You're not going to sacrifice your own creatures. Okay, fine. You should have attacked. That was a big misplay, opponent. You should have attacked, gotten some value out of that, and then sacrificed it. They're still not attacking, so we're going to force them over here. Not a board wipe. Okay, so let's bring back this. Let's do some air attacks. Can I cast this in the middle of an attack? Is that correct? It's only got flying, not flash. Why is it highlighted? It has flash, or is that a bug? Flying, when this enters sacrifice, enchant creature, disturb. Is that a bug, or is it all my? Do I have something that? Oh yeah, my rattle chains. All my spirits have flash. So let's see if they go for my double striking. Yeah, I'm going to point at my own double striker. If you don't block that, 4, 5, 6. That's your planeswalker's dead. Okay, so good. They're gonna let me kill their planeswalker. Very good. Perfect. So they definitely wanted to save their ward creature. I can live with that. They'll finally cast Yarok, but not have enough to do anything else besides it. Probably. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 in total. They can finally cast it. I think that was a big misplay for them. They stole my creature with Mind Flayer, didn't attack me with it, and then sacrificed my creature. That Hydra is annoying. It'll just get bigger and bigger, although it can get jumped blocked. All right, we got Yarok again. I'm gonna need double removal for it. The way I could handle it is, let me read this here. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, okay, so what I'm gonna have to do, it says, and then counter it. What I'm gonna have to do is, if I can pull removal next turn, I'm gonna target my sleeper dart to burn that one ward, and then the removal. So that's what I've got to hope for. Come on, pinpoint removal, board wipe. I can live with a board wipe. Not pinpoint removal. Okay, fine. Let's make our creatures a little tougher. Just go for some air attacks. All right, fine. They are getting rid of their ward. Good, okay. Let's then... We don't have to worry about... We're in trouble, though, with Yarok being able to double things. They've got plenty of mana, plenty of cards in hand. We're going to get some double stuff happening. So let's see what happens. They have the advantage. Double Yarok triggers, lots of cards in hand, lots of mana to make it happen. So number one, Kogla, double kill, amazing. At least they tapped all their mana, so that's good. So they'll kill my double striker, my 2 flyers. You're living the dream. See, what did I say? It's an on kill commander. You must kill it as soon as you see it. You're gonna gain 3 life from Yarok. And no attacks. Okay, they really, really want to protect it. Okay. And then we're just getting lands. Okay, so this is where the game turns and we lose everything. Double Meteor Golem. Okay, so that is that. Let's move on to the next game. Alright, so that's another example there. Like I said, the commanders that I never really ever play against, but I was trying to give it a shot, were Nicol Bolas and Yarok, and as we saw with both of those, it was a lost cause. So let's see here, Scarab God. We go first. Here's another on the draw. Got the removal there, Destiny. Let's see what we can do with that. So we're dealing with Dimir zombies. tap land. They played it tapped, that is. Shock land tapped. Let's see. Turn 2, Agonizing Remorse. Nope, they're trying to ramp into their commander. That's fine. I have the removal ready. Hanged Executioner also is there. Necro-Duality. That looks scary. Whenever a non-token zombie enters the battlefield under your control, create a token. Okay. Well, come on. Disenchant. Where are you? Then... we're going to set ourselves up with this Executioner because... we're going to need plenty of removal. Alright, Diagraph. That does nothing yet. No, actually, I guess it does. And then they're gonna just make lots of amazing. Okay, well, once again, we're gonna rely on getting our eventual board wipes. Now also the arena algorithm, which I don't trust, does oftentimes seem to pair things in interesting ways. Here I'm battling an opponent. There's been these several opponents that have these multiple creatures. I put all the board wipes into the deck, but then the probability of drawing them. So I used up my one removal. Abomination makes another zombie, makes another copy. Very well synergizing. Obviously their deck falls apart once I draw that board wipe, and as I said, I got plenty of them in the deck, but it's all a matter of eventually drawing them. And then Jadar is the worst. So... wow. Okay. Well... 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. That's 20 damage on their side. Don't get cute with your attacks. Alright, so they perfectly synergized everything on their side. We did board wipes, but plenty in the deck, but randomly not to be. The last game of the night, the 10th game. So I've got 3 wins so far out of 9 games. Obviously a very bad win percentage. We could try to copium it all away by saying it was just bad luck here and there, and the RNG of it all, I suppose. But here now we're going to deal with an Izzet player that is going to shock or counterspell everything until they have enough to get to Niv Mizzet. Niv Mizzet is another one that I don't waste my time playing, but we'll give it a try. So they've got... see, they're pausing already right there on a shock or a lightning bolt. blue, and therefore telling a counter spell right there, or direct damage. We want our commander in the graveyard anyway, so they might as well use that. Direct damage. Lightning bolt, plus one more. And then they rage quit because they played the wrong card. Okay. So, okay, they had Behold the Multiverse under Foretell. Galvanic Interaction. When you cast your next instant. Yeah, they did it out of order. They needed to cast the iteration to then cast their lightning bolt twice. Instead, they played the lightning bolt and then the copy spell. So you are right to rage quit off of that opponent. That really was a bad play. So let's play one more. That wasn't a real win. But let's try one more. Kambal, Console of Allocution, I believe. It's a black-white, and it taxes you every time you play a non-creature spell. It damages you every time you play a non-creature spell. So, oh, we get to go first. Okay. So, 3-mana commander in black and white. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, I lose 2. They gain 2. Right? So then our hand has... There's the freaking board wipe that we needed for 7 games in a row. And then they rage quit on that. Okay, I guess they saw our amazing synergies that they have in their minds about spirits and Azorius and counter spells. I bet they got scared of that. So okay, we'll mark that as a win, I guess. Not really. We'll put that in. Okay, we'll play the next one. Or should we stop here and then tally this up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. Only one of them I would really count as a real win. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses. Well, if we can get one more win, we can have a 50-50, a 50%. We can have a 50% win rate. If we can win one game, we can have a 50% win rate. Just technically. All right, so triple color pirates. Let me check here. Is that Stevie playing? No, that's not Stevie. Okay, so let's see. We've got the Wrath. Let's keep this hand because that Wrath I know is going to come in handy once they flood the board with pirates. So I don't have all the colors that I need, but that I can play the Lantern right away and draw a card off of it. Single black, missing. Okay, what we will do is it just needs a single. Okay, let's yeah, exactly. So single mana to exiled graveyards, Fathom Fleet, whatever. Let's draw a card. Okay, Paladin class. That's okay. I got 2. This time I get 2 board wipes, but no blue mana. So, this Path of Bravery isn't going to be as useful as it could be. So instead, take that out. So I've got no blue mana. Ooh, Captain Storm. Okay, that's a good one. They're going to ramp with that. Come on, 4th mana. 4th mana. It should not be any problem at all to get my 4th mana. I need my 4th mana. Because Captain Storm is a good card. There's my 4th mana. Okay. Gotta use up this at the moment, but very necessary. Hold back those ornery pirates. That's enough mana for their commander. Do not recommend. Oops, captivating clue can steal my stuff. Got another removal. Okay, let's remove this guy and this lad, and then miss the land drop. And let's see. They've got their blue mana with their treasure, so they can only summon the captain one time. Rattle Chains is the one. When this enters, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards at random. Yeah, don't even look at your cards. You never want to know what you discarded. All right, so I have the counter spell. I guess we'll just play it safe. We have the Flash Spirit. 3/3 trample. Signet. See if they use up all of that mana for the... Nope. They could have... If they're truly playing it correctly, they could have the pirate counterspell, Spell Swindle. And then it gives itself hexproof. Fun. Okay. So... if we do the path here, that'll give my creature +1/+1 when it attacks. Well, not really. It'll give me life, and then eventually. But I guess I'll torch it first. Sure. Now my convolute might not be as worth it as before. Chromatic Lantern, so they got lots of mana. I have 7 mana for my solvent. They have lots of mana to summon their captain and resummon their captain. Now, was I on the play or the draw on this one? I forgot. Anyone remember? Was I on the play or the draw for this game? When this enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment, reveal it. We might get that Pirate's Cutlass. At least they are playing the deck very piratey. Oh, okay. Flagship, which makes you discard. Whenever this deals combat damage, make them discard. Okay. So out of cards. You're gonna see me out of counter spells in hand. Ooh, shock spell, a shock land. I guess they say I can afford it. Well, got a blocker. Got a Jace. Yeah, so what do we think about the rethink? What tangible things? They're gonna try to do the alternate win condition of treasures. Okay. Pirates got me. So I'm going to end the stream at this point. If you were watching the stream live, what we did was we crafted a deck, we played it, we updated it a little bit, and then I put it out there for the world to then improve it. I'm going to put the deck list into the description. So any of you that are watching this after the fact, I hope you enjoyed the thought behind the deck, and can't wait to hear what your thoughts are on improving the deck. Put them in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and all that good stuff. Thank you everyone for coming to the stream to hang out. Thank you, Mark. Everyone that came, I'm going to shut things down for the moment. I'll be back on Saturday to do more gameplay and have more of the usual cracker packs, snack chat, and the like. So this has been VM Campos, and I'll see you all next time.